And the officials now giving the instructions for the athletes to go on their marks. Again, Smith in 1, Williams in 2, Parker 3, Grant 4, Senior 5, Barrett 6, Satchwell 7, and Evans in lane 8. The gun has set them away. Brilliant start this from Greater Port More's Grant at the outside of Grant is Cedar from License in lane 5. Now moving well in lane 2 is Williams of Holy Rosie. Williams of Holy Rosie carries the field in the home stretch. Williams having a slight advantage. Moving well of Cedar of License. But here comes Cedar of License. She moves past Williams of Holy Rosie. Williams of Cedar of License in lane 5 will take it ahead of Grant of Greater Port More. In third should be Williams. So Cedar of License take it in a time of 28.20 seconds. 28.20. Grant is second, 28.80. And Williams is third, 28.87 seconds. The top 3, gold, silver, and bronze in the girls' class 1. This is the 200 meters.
Brilliant sprinting from Senior. I think she got out very well. And, you know, just especially with it being this windy and the wind blowing to the faces. And again, I have to applaud the coaches. I have to applaud the athletes, Sean, for being so young, following the instructions. She tucked that chin all the way to her chest and drove to the line, which is what is needed to battle the wind coming home. So beautiful sprinting at this stage. And I think the time also a reflection of what we have been talking about, the 2-year absence, along with the conditions, the wind inside the stadium. Also an interesting athlete from Greater Port More, Nicoy Watson, looked good yesterday in the 300 meters. So I think overall this race should be good. Senior of Mona Heights, all the boys, based on how they would have competed the last 2 days, should make it good.
Boyd, Carty, Watson, Ross, Sharp, Brown, Cena, and Reid. Brilliant start. That is in lane 5. It looks to be Sharp of Waterford. Sharp of Waterford trying to clear the field in the home stretch. But in lane 3 is Watts of Greater Port More. He has work to do. So to Ross of License. Here comes Ross of License. Chin in the air. It's Ross of License. He holds on his head and fights the breeze. It's going to be Ross of License taking the top spot ahead of Sharp of Waterford. 26.47 seconds for this young man, the favorite from License, Mario Ross. 26.47 is a flash time to Shauna.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about the win for him. The wind reading a minus 4.1, so it's telling the kind of conditions the boys and girls having to compete in. 26.45 the time given, the record by Christopher Taylor back in 2012, 24.02. So these boys are way off based on the time, but it's telling, like I said, 2 years of no competition, 2 years of no running because many would have been out of school because of the pandemic. But when you look at Mario coming through, again, coming from behind, he came off that 100 meters behind Sharp of Waterford, and just having to dig deep to find that victory run that he did. The technique changed a bit. So the head was back a little bit, then he realized it was way too windy. It was extremely windy, the wind hit, and then he maybe remembered the proper way is to drop that chin, tuck the chin in, tuck the arms closer and drive home. So good sprinting once again from Ross, double gold medalist.
Yeah, so Ross, Sharp and Boyd, gold, silver and bronze. Sharp from Waterford and Boyd from Spanish Town. We're ready now for Trishana's feature event. The girls' class 2 200 meters final. Record here is 26.60 seconds, set by Rosalie Cooper. That was back in 2012. Then name 1, you have Nikora Nelson from Windward Road, qualified the time of 29.61. Now Renee Lewis of Mountainside is in 2, 29.69. Anelia Grant of Corinali is in 3, 28.90. Now Texera Johnson of Exchange is in 4, 27.85 seconds. Adriana Harris from Seaforth is in 5, 28.37. Chelsea and Samuels from Halfway Tree is in 6, 28.45. Now Jamila Alves of Spanish Town is in 7, 29.95. And Nika Shea Groves from Greater Port More is in lane 8, 29.71. Athletes on their marks. The girls' class 2, this is the 200 meters final. Gunn has sent them away. All eyes is on Johnson in lane 4. On the outside of Johnson is Harris of C4. Now Johnson goes into another gear and leaves Harris of C4. Samuels of Infantry, Alves of Spanish Road, and goes for more. This young lady, Johnson of Exchange, searching for her second gold medal after cupping the 300 meters yesterday. It's Johnson of Exchange going towards the line, bouncing, facing the breeze. She goes across the line, stopping the clock. 27.52 seconds for Texera Johnson. Gaining the gold medal. 27.52 is the flash time. This young lady from Exchange taking the gold. Texera Johnson. The flash time is 27.52. The official time not on the board just as yet, but outstanding sprinting, well-timed event from Texera Johnson.
Yeah, no surprise I think at this point about her capabilities. The wind with the record set by Rosalie Cooper back in 2012, 26.60 inside the stadium. The boys just ran class 1. It was a minus 4.1. The wind now minus 2.8. So like I said, the athletes, these young athletes having to battle the windy conditions, the sun hot, but they're getting the job done and doing so in a beautiful fashion. So she's now double gold medalist for Exchange Primary and such a phenomenon. You know, I think that going forward, she's only class 2, but she should land, or I hope she will land in the right hands. So
but all 8 competitors are there for the boys class 2. This is the 200 meters. A reminder of the names and lanes. McLeod, Greater Portmore, 1 Williams, Alpha 3, 2 Noble, Nagahead 3, Henselwood from Holy Rosa is in 4, McCoy from Greater Portmore is in 5, Morgan, St. Richard 6, Joseph, St. Jude 7, Lewis, Crescent in lane 8, and Henselwood has gone past McCoy, is outside, and Morgan, and looks for Joseph and Lewin. Now the young man in lane 4, Henselwood, who was sitting on the cycle track a short while ago, he is in front. On the outside of Henselwood is Morgan of St. Richard. We spoke about those 2 athletes, Morgan of St. Richard fighting with Henselwood on the inside and Morgan on the outside. It's going to be Morgan and Henselwood. It's close. I think Henselwood got it ahead of Morgan. 27.06 seconds. Henselwood in lane 4. I think got the better of Morgan of St. Richard's. It's Morgan getting it. Well, I'm wrong. Morgan getting the gold, 27.09. Henselwood the silver, 27.11 seconds. And the bronze will be going to, I'll tell you in a very short while, but it was close between the 2, Morgan and Henselwood, 27.09, 27.11. And Lewin finishes third, 28.27 seconds.
Good running. I think that when you looked at, you know, like you said, even if you go back and you were to watch that race, Enshelwood of Holy Rose, he came up on the shoulders so quickly of McCoy and Morgan. But Morgan being able to gauge him, and like I said, it's extremely windy. And when you look at the frame of also Enshelwood and a lot of these young boys, can be a lot to navigate in this wind. But nonetheless, a strong finish to get the win ahead of Enshelwood. Very close though towards the end, and I think had Enshelwood just bid his time a bit with his dipping at the line, maybe would have gotten victory, or could have had a tie.